Mhm. Great Sunrise family. Welcome. Today we are going to be discussing magic and some books here to connect the dots and help you along with you doing your own magic. I also have a shaman by the name of Tendo.
Yes.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Greetings to you all, family. My name is Tando. My full name is Tando Kolo. I am actually in South Africa, Port Elizabeth, in the Eastern Cape. Thank you.
And I'm going to be interviewing Tendo and also talking about what cartomancy is, and your astrology. I'm going to be going over the astrology again. And also the hoodoo Bible magic. So first, let me start by going over some things I wanted to go over with you first. And that's my quick discussion on the astrology and the connection with you as a being on this planet. So the five pointed of you as a person born from the cosmos into this earth. So it's representative of you. And the connection, so when you look at the 5 points and you think about it, it connects you to, you're connected to your purpose. And from that purpose, you're connected to the love relationship. From the love relationship, you're connected to the people, the other people besides the love relationship, but the other relationships you have in your life. And then from the other relationships, so you got your purpose.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking on the video as well. So you got your purpose. I wish I could draw this out.
There's been a break into our connection.
Oh, okay. It's probably going to be constantly happening. Just as long as you don't
break in our connection.
Can you hear me though? Can you hear me?
Come on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I'm just discussing with my viewers about the.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm just.
Marisa.
Yeah, I'm just discussing with the viewers about the star and.
Marisa.
Go ahead.
No. I didn't hear you. I was like just calling on you because I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a challenge doing this interview on the phone. But yeah, because people are trying to call me again. People are getting on my nerves.
But I do hear you now clearly. I hear you now clearly.
Okay, great. So what I was discussing with my viewers is how we are the stars, how we connect with the stars, our astrology, and how you know this is each point represents an aspect of our lives, is what I'm saying. Our
Okay.
purpose, what are we supposed to be doing in the earth? What we're born to do in the earth? Then I said the love relationship, that special one that you connect and become one with. Then you have your circle of people around you. Then you have the last two, of course. You have your last two. Okay. One is your connection with the spiritual world and with this world, physical world, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the 5-pointed star that you are, that represents who you are. Because we are both, right now, being embodied in this body, we are both physical and spiritual, but we've only, since we've been here, there's been a lockdown on us that only connect us to our, doesn't want to allow us to be empowered and to be connected to our spiritual part of us, which is we have to get that connection, because it keeps us in the physical part of us and locks down that part of our brain that won't allow us to go further and become our own empowered being on this earth, because the forces wants to lock us down here. So we can unlock ourselves by being both spiritual and accepting our physical existence, but also with the balance of the spiritual and the physical. You agree with that, Tendo?
Yes, I do. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree. Yes.
Okay. So do you see how the hoodoo Bible magic will work for you? Because basically when we see words are something that comes from the words that were formed, numbers. They were numbers before they were words. We can only say it comes from biology, right? Comes from science. Comes from energy.
Yes.
Because when you think about the things that we can't see, like for example, an unbodied spirit, you have to give a name to it. So it's a word. It ends up being a word, right? It ends up.
Yes.
Yeah. So we know that it exists because we can smell, hear, and when it manifests as something, we can see it. So it's the same as word. So if it's that, then we know that it comes from within us. Most of our languages and stuff comes from within us naturally.
Yes.
The words are born from us, from an unseen place. So that just means that people have to tap in. People have to tap into that to get these things to really work for them. Because biologically, we we contain it already, is what I'm trying to get at when I'm breaking it down the way I broke it down. Hey, Sean Harris, welcome. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So, can you explain? Oh, I didn't bring my cards, but I do have the. I have the other. I have just recently brought me a Hoodoo Tarot book. I sent yours. I actually brought my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, so, so tell us about Cartomancy.
Honestly speaking, the definition of cards, it was first practiced in Egypt, Kemet, here in Africa. And our people were using back then the skin of a sheep to make the cards, even the tarot that they now use. It was derived from skin. So these in the African culture, even now, our parents, if you start playing cards, maybe let's say you play cards as a game and make a bet, our parents would reprimand you, or they would give you a beating. Sorry, do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Yes. So the reason being that still in the African culture, amongst African people, cards still bear some sort of spirit with them. So when you open a deck of cards, it's like opening the world of spirituality. So even if you do not understand what cards mean, but still, they still speak, they still bear a spirit. I don't know whether you can hear what I'm trying to say to you.
Yes, I hear you loud and clear. And you're right, because you know, you can do it. Have you played spades?
Yes.
No. These playing deck of cards you can take, which from what you're saying is because they're alive, you can work them, and you can have yourself winning. Because I know this is how I used to do it, and this is not only this, but also I say in gambling as well. You can have yourself winning. I don't know much about the lotto.
Okay.
I don't know. I've been testing the lotto to see my psychic abilities, working with the numbers and stuff, but I haven't gotten lucky on that. But I know when I work with the spades cards and I'm playing against somebody, I know I can be on top of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I can be on top of the game. Yeah. So yeah, these cards, just plain old cards, are powerful. You just have to figure out your connection, your personal connection to those cards. And now we're looking at the hoodoo cards, and I know I was reading it by Kenya Lee McQuiller. And the history of these cards are pretty much from a time here in America when people were enslaved, I guess, or all the things that they went through. And but you know that connection comes from Africa, of course. The
Yes.
roots come from Africa. They just kept it and passed it down through all the turmoil that was endured here in America as well. So they have the Freeman card and the Two of Sticks, and it's like the cards in the cards in the Two of Sticks. It's like it's numbers. It seems to be numbers. You got Two of Sticks, Three of Sticks, Four of Sticks, Five of Sticks, Six of Sticks, Seven of Sticks, Eight of Sticks, Nine of Sticks, 10 of Sticks. Then it goes to baskets. It's like Ace of Baskets, which I guess represents one basket, and then you got two basket, three basket, four basket, five basket, all the way up to 10 basket, right? And so on. And so on.
Okay.
You got knives, and then it goes all the way from 1 to 10. So, and then like I said, that's on one side. And so these are the tarots, though.
You know what? The other thing that we have to make mention of is that during the Dark Ages, the Inquisition made the reading of cards a crime punishable by death, by burning at the stake. Do you understand?
Yes, like witchcraft, like burning people because they're practicing witchcraft. Yeah.
So in 1404, the high ecclesiastics of the church forbade the priest to touch the cards.
Because people wanted to control people. And we're in a place of control to I don't know why this mindset of controlling everything because people can actually they refuse to believe. People refuse to know themselves. People refuse to know that the power is within them. And then of course we have to learn how the power is within us. Then we need to learn how to utilize those powers to benefit us. You see what I'm saying? So back then in ancient times, there were schools for people. There was balance. This was your education, how to be and exist on earth with both your spiritual aspect and your physical aspect balanced out completely. Well, something happened upon the earth that disrupted all of this and started this mindset of control and conquering and stealing and killing. And it's all because it doesn't want the people to exceed this planet and be more empowered.
True.
It wants to keep us in our souls as well, because after the body passes over and we transition, it still wants us to be imprisoned.
Yes.
So we have to. That's why. Go ahead.
Okay. The other thing that we have to understand about this is during 1440, Saint Bernardine persuaded the people to gather all the cards they could find and had them burned in the public square. Do you understand? So people that were reading cards or were using cards, they were more persecuted during the time of the Dark Ages.
Wow. I thought the ages it's always started like during the Dark Ages.
Yes. You know what? Christianity, what you call the reformers, the Martin Luther, the John Huss, and everything. But that were actually more
the astral world, or the cosmos above us, because we tend to be colored in the sky. It's like blocking us our connection.
If the word
Nabi, yes.
Yes. They say that word Nabi means a prophet. But if you were to go history, you'll find that that word Nabi was actually a word that was used by the African people to tell that they are the card readers. So Nabi actually means a card reader.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Someone who does reading cards. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, or does fortune telling and stuff. Not a prophet as now they claim. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes. I understand.
Yes, we can have a future being told by the means of cards. Like as I was doing an initiation, so I was in this class with this lady who was also in this initiation class that I was in. So we were doing now diplomacy, which is, do you understand, reading a person through a Bible?
Yes. Yes,
so
you can
I
do
was
much.
the only one.
Yeah,
I was the only one in this class who could read people with cards. So I told this lady that she was going to hear or get disturbing news on the 2nd of June. And she asked me, what are these news about? And then I said, you will discover them, but they are going to be terrible. So I forgot about that to check her status. And then she discovered on that 2nd of June that she was HIV positive.
Oh, no.
Yes. So those were terrible news that the cards have already told that she was going to get. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
So I'm merely mentioning that yes, cards can tell the future.
Right.
And they are accurate. And is most people were using cards as we call them. Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Do you understand? We're the descendants of the Egyptians.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So these people were not just reading cards; they were imparting some sort of energy or power in these cards. Remember, everything that we touch, everything that we bless is blessed. We have a certain power as African people. I've seen this. I've went to the sea to pick some shells. When I go to pick these shells, I, for myself, tell the shells that you are a woman, or you are a sea, or you are a what. And when I read a person about using these shells, I discover that whatever that I'm saying, it is like that. It is true. It is accurate.
Yeah. So, I think that we can also we have the power to prevent things as well, right?
Yes.
Kendall?
Yes.
And that's if that woman was connected to, like you're connected, then she probably would have been able to do her path in a way where she wouldn't have caught HIV.
True.
Because that's when we recognizing that we are stars for once, that we are connected to the astral, and understanding cosmology or astrology, and our metaphysical connection with our bodies, with who we are. That is actually the basis of empowerment, is your astrology, understanding the metaphysics of you. And your because you're that star in space with all this energy surrounding you, that is incorporated within you, that is allowing you to shine. So you, once you know these things about yourself, you need to move to where you're empowering yourself to protection, and knowing beforehand your engagements, controlling your engagements, and then ultimately in controlling your environment.
Yes.
And not allowing people to, what is this? Not allowing people to just, people won't be able to come and penetrate your environment and harm you. Because you're alert, and you have that, what they call the witch's circle. But of course, witch is nothing more than an ancestor. I forgot what they call, I forgot the word witch in African language. I forgot what it was. There's a ancient language that, now over in Africa, y'all have so many various different dialects, different languages, and different everything. But there was one word for witch that came from the continent. I think the ancient Kemets, but I keep forgetting it. And I thought I was gonna. A friend of mine's told me about it. Eternal. He knows about all that. So he gave me the word, but I didn't keep the word.
You see, as some of them would suppose that card reading, it's demonic and it's satanic and stuff. If you were to have your deck of cards and go into a church and then start telling them that, you see, when I see an ace, it reminds me that there is only one God. Because an ace, and when I look upon 2 or 3, Anne, this to me says that there is a Father, a Son, and the Holy Ghost. Do you understand?
Yes.
And then 4 would also be for remembrance of the 4 evangelists: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John.
Uh-huh.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And 5 would be the 5 wise virgins who were ordered to trim their lamps.
Uh-huh.
And there were 10 indeed, but 5 were the wise.
Uh-huh.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
6 would be the 6 days God created the heavens and the earth.
Uh-huh.
7, the 7th day, God rested from all that He had made. Are you with me?
Yes.
So even you still remember that during the time of Noah, the people that were saved.
Yes.
During the time of the flood, there were 8 people. Must you still remember?
Uh-huh.
Yes. So the cards would always tell you about such things, and then the nine lepers who were cleansed by Jesus, our Savior, as they say. You understand?
Yes.
So all I'm trying to say is, okay, and then the 10 commandments of God is, so if Christians were to understand that there is always a connection in card reading and the Bible, and the bone casting, because we use what we call bones.
Yes, I did
Astrocartomancy.
I did a ritual.
Astrocartomancy.
Do you remember the ritual I did with the bones?
Yes.
With what's his name? Alegba.
Yes.
Papa Alegba, and the circle, the pentagram. Yeah.
And how did you do that one?
Huh?
How did that one go?
I think it went pretty well. Like something in the earth, because I did it in the city. I did it in Norfolk, Virginia, in the middle of the city.
Okay.
Of a prominent Martin Luther King Pentagon road, because it was a 4-corner road that the Masons had set up.
All right.
So, and it was near. It was like near all of the. So I figured that it had to have been a more powerful, high energy space where I did the ritual. So it did move some stuff. We may not understand. We may not. Some may not be able to see what it did, but it did us. It did something. It did something. It always will do something, and I think it's still working in the process.
Oh, okay.
So when we do these rituals, when we do a huge ritual, rituals will continue. It will continue to work on.
So let's go back to what we were saying. That because if one has read the book that says Africa, the African religion, the mother of all religions. In that book, we discover that even Christianity was born from Africa.
Right.
So even the Bible itself was derived from the African culture and practices. Hence, there's a book that says the Africans who wrote the Bible. Therefore, if we have such books, how do we then come to a point of demonizing and insulting the spirituality of the African people and their practices of trying to understand the past, the future, even the present circumstances by means of divination.
Right. Because
Do you understand?
because they changed the meaning in the minds. They changed thought. Let's just say thought. They changed our thought process and how we view the world and how we view ourselves and how we view our existence here. And they changed, and I was telling you about, the witch,
Yes.
and how the original word does not mean what the English word means. Because
Yes.
for them, they recreated a reality. We have allowed people to control that reality, and now they want to use technology to control our reality. They want to make it easy for themselves to control our reality. If we don't get a hold of ourselves as a people, it's going to be too late for many.
Yeah.
If you don't learn yourself and get a hold of who you are, and know thyself, and um, know how powerful we have the capability of becoming before we allow these technologies to start being able to formulate our reality. We are to formulate our own realities. We are computers. Computers come from us. The whole idea from computers come from our bodies, our biological abilities. So we, we the problem I think with the law. Sometimes I allow because we do control the computers as well. We can do that with our energy. And I try to do it with the lotto. And I try to do that by saying to myself, I just want them to generate, because I'm some numbers for me.
Okay.
I want to, that, people talk about law of attraction. I'm not going to get into the law of attraction because it's natural for us. I'm going to talk about, yes, I want to attract those numbers that are going to be called. So I got to already within myself have ideas of numbers that I'm empowering. So when they pop up, I've already in my mind decided that these were going to be powerful numbers for me.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I'm going to form that connection. We have to build those connections.
True.
Like you said, you were saying that a woman, kind of like that.
Yeah, you know what? I just did a reading, I think a week ago.
Uh-huh.
So this lady was looking for her father.
Uh-huh.
So I said, okay, fine. Let's throw the bones. So I did throw the bones. And the interesting thing, one shell left all others and then sticked onto her feet.
Wow.
Then I said, pick that shell. And then she took it up. And then I said, look into that shell. What do you see in that shell? And then she said to me, I don't know. I said, okay, what sexual organ can you depict from that shell? And then she started smiling. And she said, it looks like a vagina.
Oh.
And then I said to her, you know the reason why? Because your mother is angry. She says she's the one that gave birth to you. your father didn't raise you, your father didn't care about you. So for all the efforts that she has done in raising you, she deserves that you honor her.
Yeah.
So in the African culture, if you are not married with someone, or someone has not paid the dowry for you, you cannot have his surname. Your ancestors will be furious and angry against what you have done by marrying someone who has not paid the dowry for you. Do you understand? So the shell told her that your mother was not married.
Right.
You belong to your mother's side. Don't look for your father. He will bring curse unto you.
Exactly.
So basically, the thing is, we have been brainwashed so much that when we see a white man doing the same thing that I'm doing as a black person,
right,
we call it magic. And all of us, when we see a white man doing magic, we applaud that white man doing a magic. But when we see a black person doing the same magic, we say he's a witch.
Yeah.
And we want to ban him. You know why?
Because it was programmed like that to keep us from becoming empowered in ourselves. So we can rely on, so we can give it over to something that doesn't have the power that unfortunately. Yes. We're supposed to be the leaders of the world. We're supposed to oh, I lost them. Yeah, like I was saying, we're supposed to be the ones who he had to run. He's a busy shaman man, my friend, Tendo. Hopefully one day we can have him here with us in person on at least on the computer, because it's kind of hard to talk on the thing. But like I was saying, we're the ones who's supposed to be the guiding lights on the earth. You know, guiding all to their greatness, to how to live on the earth in a balanced state. But like we said before, all these things got disrupted. Man's mind wanted mental illness, basically. The mental illness of man has grabbed a hold of him, so he doesn't have uh, control of himself, but yet he seeks to control others because the mind is not in a state of any kind of balance and lacks the ability to be a guiding light to the world, and uh, how to achieve these things, because our heaven is where we're at. If our heaven is where we're at now, it's supposed to be, and only you as people control that. No one else controls that. My heart goes out to the Buffalo, New York shooting victims, family members. Uh, we as a people, we have to start wanting to know thyself and stop taking the words for demonic, because it means nothing for us as people. It's nothing bad for us. Um, I guess basically what I'm saying is we need to embrace more our true spirituality and stop and let go of the fakery. Because until we really, 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 truly love thyself, know thyself, when we truly love thyself, we're going to feel the world around us. And feeling the world around us, we're going to be conscious, aware, where when, and we're not going to depend on something else to do it for us. We're dependent on ourselves to do it. Because, like the thing says, the body is the house of God. Whoever shall know thyself shall know the generator, operator, destroyer. Simple. It's not about having a God complex, because you want that God complex. You want the metaphysics of you, the astrological understanding of who you are. For too long, they tell us no for astrology, that it makes you go down. Only if you're low energy and your perception is your perception of the world is you're stuck in their perception of that low energy. Because out from low energy is born low energy, right? So you do need things from a higher perspective to change your mind, to change your way of thinking. I think that's what CRT is about. Critical race theory is to help those to change their thinking, to know there's a higher way of understanding. You can't be down here and trying to change it. It just won't change. You're stagnant. You're stuck. But when you can get a better, higher understanding from a higher uh, place of existence, then your mind can start working to come out of that lower energy, lower thinking, and you can moving forward in life, because lower energies are stagnated, stuck. And I wanted to ask him about Mansa Musa, but today I don't feel much like, well, because Mansa Musa, I really wanted to ask him about Mansa Musa. But we're going to have to do that later, probably another time. I just really wanted to go over some powerful books and talk to you about, okay. And like I talked to him about did I get it? Okay. About the book of Psalms. And it says here, the Book of Psalms and folk magic. One can, of course, sing the Psalms or Psalters, but in common Jewish, Protestant, Catholic, and spiritualist traditions, it is more usual to recite them, either from memory or from a book such as a Tehillim. Psalter or Bible recitation of Psalms can be performed on its own as a type of a prayer, but in folk magical practices, the recitation of Psalms often accompanies other acts of ritual endeavor, such as bathing, spiritually cleaning a home or business, perfuming a room with incense, or suffocating objects or people, placing candles or upon an wearing a mojo bag. The Jewish custom of reciting psalms over water to fix or empower them for use in cooking or for use in cleansing or massage is also found in hoodoo and conjure practice. Now, I used psalms over oils and water. In meditation as well. It wasn't used, I didn't, okay. You can say I kind of was doing a cleansing. It is also considered auspicious to recite daily the chapter of Psalms that corresponds to the current year of one's life. For example, someone who is 20 years old should recite chapter 21 of the book of Psalms. We provide for you here a short list of traditional Psalms for special occasions. To find a mate, this is for the men because women shouldn't be seeking, women don't seek mates, women wait, right? So to find a mate, well, also, I guess in a way, it would help the female, because it'll probably guide you to where you need to be in waiting, you know. So it says to find a mate, you would want Psalms 32, 38, 70, 71, 72, 82, 121, and 124. But of course, that part, like I said before, the mating game, okay? This is my recommendation because you may get more, than, let's say, more than four mates, more than four dates, just to get to know and stuff like that. Always of make a list of what you like about them and what you don't like. Um, what you can see possibilities in, what you can see that's going to help you build, uh, and what you can bring to that relationship as well. So you want to make that list because remember, writing is powerful as well. When we do things ahead of time, think out things ahead of time on paper. like I said, 4 dates. That's going to be 4 different entries of different suitors. And definitely, you're going to have to look at your astrological sign and everything surrounding it, like the sun, the house, everything, everything, because that is you. So you definitely want to look at those things before you make any decisions or moves. Okay. On the day of a wedding, you want to look at Psalms 19 when you're thinking on the day of a wedding. For an end to infertility, Psalms 102. For healthy childbirth, Psalms 4, 5, 8, 20, 35, 57, 93, 108, 142. Upon the birth of a child, you want 20, 139. For recovery from illness, you want Psalm 6, 13, 20, 22, 23, 30, 32, 38, 41, 51, and 86. That's for recovery from illness. For livelihood, you want 23, 34, 36, 62, 65, 67, 85, 104, 144, 145. This one I'm definitely going to utilize. Next one is for peace. And you would go to Psalms 46 for that one. For divine guidance, Psalms 139. For repentance, Psalms 51 and 90. For help in troublesome times, Psalms 20, Psalms 38, Psalms 85, Psalms 86, Psalms 102, Psalms 130, and Psalms 142. For traveling, or if you're in physical danger or you sense physical danger, Psalms 91. Psalms of Thanksgiving for a miracle, Psalms 18. Psalms of Thanksgiving upon being rescued, 124. In a house of mourning, Psalms 49. At a gravesite or on the anniversary of a death, Psalms 33, 16, 17, 72, 91. At the dedication of a monument, Psalms 1. So basically, I'm just going to sum it up because I could be here all day when I really. Then we're going to. So basically, through self-knowledge and understanding, you can empower yourself beyond the scheme of things, the way things are now for you. You know, you want to deal with the spiritualist because they can guide you and they can educate you and they can show you your true path and renew you. Help you renew you, because once you gain your self-knowledge, you can start walking and living and existing within the truth and less in the illusion of this world that we're in. So, real quickly, I'm gonna probably read a couple pages from The Intuitionist because we still have to figure out hold on. Yeah, so we're gonna get back into The Intuitionist because we're almost there. We're almost there. And I'm definitely gonna do a reading tomorrow. So, and I haven't got a text back yet. So now we're getting into a book reading, and then after that, I will talk about how you can connect with your higher self and spiritual growth. Hold on a second. Yeah, I know. Huh? All right, I'm back. Okay. Fulton's little box. Well, if you happen to find it, you give it to us. What good is it going to do them in the long run? They may sway some of the undecideds, but the been the party of the elevator inspector guild and always will be. You believe that they tell you and think that Lover and them are friends of the colored people or some such, but they're the same as anyone else. Hold on. Let me fix my. I didn't get the right. I rather use the mic. Let me see if it's not too late. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. The thing was down. Huh. All right. And always will be. You believe that they tell you and think that Lever and them are friends of the colored people or some such, but they're the same as anyone else. They want to get what they can out of the system. Excuse me. Just like me and just like you, he shouts. Joe opened it up. Will you? We're done here. Back to Lily Mae. We're done here, right? I can go. Well, even give you a ride. We'll even give you a ride. Aren't a lot of buses around here? She hears the door open behind her. Shankray stands. So we understand each other, right? Lily Mae says, and if I don't go along, Shankray stretches and sighs. I thought I was clear. I pride myself on making myself understood, especially around election time. I want you to find Fulton's box and give it to me because no one cares about a the next time you come down here, you won't meet with me. You'll talk to one of the shush boys, and they are never misunderstood. Lily Mae has forgotten this incident, but no matter, it still happened. I happened, it happened like this. It was a night in late August, a night that rekindled in rattling windows and tree branches, palsy that lost recollection of autumn, misplaced for the succession of bright summer distractions, trapped heat in small rooms and sweaty underarms. But it was always there waiting. Autumn always comes, and the first night late in summer is a reminder. A small hello, dear, that it is coming. That night, towards the end of her sixth summer, was the night of an annual visitation. She couldn't sleep for the wind, tiresome argument, a minor player in the argument. Almost a bystander was the scraping of dry leaves across the field behind the house. It was to Lily Mae that it spoke, recommending a glass of water, her parched throat. It was silent downstairs and late. This realization pit itself against her mother's quite firm instruction that she be in bed by nightfall and stay there. Here it was, a good ways into nightfall, and she was indeed in bed as instructed, and thirsty. Her parents must be asleep. She hadn't heard a sound since that last sound, that loud hinge squeaking of her parents' bedroom door as they retired for the night. At the usual time, when they always went to bed, she had contemplated this larceny many times before and always persuaded herself against it. To steal a glass of water, the possibility of spanking hand invariably convinced her against that course of action. So rebellious, going for a glass of water when she should be in bed, but not tonight. To nightfall had happened by, and that meant another summer had passed. More or less, there would still be a hot day or two, but hot days under the brown pall of autumn, another summer had passed. She could count summers, and that meant she was older. Or so her persuasions whispered, old enough, her dry throat urged. To hazard discovery while on a late night adventure for a glass of water. She pulled back the quilt with a dangerous flourish. So be it, a glass of water. The door opened without a sound. She knew it would. She'd gotten that far, at least. On her previous scrubbed missions, she looked down the hallway to her parents' room and saw no line of light beneath the door. They were asleep. She paused, knowing that her parents were everywhere, like air, and perhaps possessing bat powers of hearing. She learned about bats and how they hang upside down on clothespin claws when they sleep, and how they have big ears because they have no eyes. She did not hear the springs in her parents' bed sing as they did when her father heaved himself out of bed to investigate. For example, a little girl's illegal trespass beyond her door, creak. With that first flush of courage, she stepped into the hall and the floorboards creaked. So loud they'll be out spanking her any second. But no, still no sound from their room. If she stepped very slowly, with just her little toes first, the floor did not give creaks. She was brave after 4 steps, quickening her feet's pressure on the gullible floorboards. After 4 successful steps, and on the 5th they creaked. She could feel the dirt beneath her toes, even though she watched her mother sweep that very afternoon with her sure, strong strokes. There was invisible dirt and she felt it. She did not hear the bed springs sing. When she got to the head of the stairs, she remembered that the stairs were very loud if you stepped on them, but not loud at all if you stepped close to the wall. Away from the center, where there was less support, needless to say, she was very thirsty when she finally made it down the stairs, for it took a long time for her to traverse the peril of the stairs. She remembered half a prayer and said that half a prayer to herself all the way down. She could not be bothered to remember the other half of the prayer because she only faked it in church, mouthing the words, only occasionally speaking them so her parents would not spank her. She did not hear any sound from the room upstairs, or maybe half a prayer is enough sometimes, or has no effect one way or the other or another. She wondered what she had been afraid of all the other times before, when she had been thirsty at night and wanted to come down the stairs but didn't. Felt the same wonder as she padded across the parlor rug and slowly opened the door to the kitchen. After feeling her way around the kitchen table and its sharp corners, she reached into the sink when her father struck a match, loud and rough, a leg of the kitchen table, and lit the kitchen table candle. She almost wet her nightclothes, thought they really are everywhere. She pulled her arm back quickly and stood before her father's hands. He'd been sitting in the dark with a glass of his whiskey. The dark grease from his day's work on his automobile was smeared up his large arms to his elbow. She saw that he was half slumped over the table and making words with his mouth, but not making sounds. He looked at her through heavy eyes. Her father pushed the wooden chair away from the table and tapped his lap. He told her to come here. She sat on his lap, hesitating for a second because she thought the machine grease on his pants might stain her nightclothes, and she could get in trouble with her mother. But her father said to come so she could sit on his broad lap. He tapped the paper on the table and asked her, "They teaching you how to read, girl?" She nodded, looking at the yellow paper. On the table before her, it had drawings on it and words. Her father said, "Tell me what that says." Then tapping the paper again and leaving a portion of black fingerprint on the page. She peered down at the paper, which was yellow in candlelight. Above and below the drawings, the words set in small lumps, and taunted her. She thought she would get in trouble. There were a lot of words she had never seen before, so she looked for a few reassuring words she did know and found them scattered around at the didn't know where to start because the words she had learned already were far apart, not grouped together, so that she could pick a spot and begin there. Starting one place was the same as starting any other place. So she picked one of the drawings at the top of the page, the one that looked like her mother's loom, and drew the tiny letters together, taking them one at a time and drawing them together. Where the white space was, that was the end of the word. The wind still aggravated the windows in their frames, and the leaves shortled. She said hotly, on, yon, ho, hosting. Her father said she felt the words in his chest against her back. Union hosting engine. Her father read, Arbo's patent. All right, family. Thank you. Hey, beloved. Tomorrow, we're going to start on page 120 of, I think we're chapter 1 of which we're going up, because remember the way he started his book with chapter 1 and 2, those were the lower levels, which was a lot of mischievous things were happening in the beginning. It has gotten worse in this book, but like the doctor says, it gets worse before it gets better. That's with anything. So, like I said, it's progressing, but like now she's engaged with someone calling her the N word, and it's taking her back, and she's going back into the time and moments when she felt safe with her father. Lily Mae is trying to uncover what the Imperials were up to when the elevator fell that she had inspected. So she's still engaged in that, but she's dealing with some she's in the midst of dealing with some trauma. So we're going to start that tomorrow. I will come back live again and try to get through majority of the end. We're going to do a large majority, so I'm going to have to escape out. I'm going to have to scope out a large portion of my day tomorrow to do that. Maybe after I get a lot of things done tomorrow. And then we'll also go over Mansa Musa tomorrow. I'm going to try to get my friend back online because I have some questions to ask about Mansa Musa. So with that said, family, thank you for being here. And always remember true love, real peace, and the higher self within our souls. Till next time, peace.